2 to the power of 2, to the power of 0, to the power of 0, to the power of 4. So 2 to the power of 2 is 4. And then 2 to the power of 0 is 1. And that's 1 again. And then 2 to the power of 4 is just 16, right? And, oh, the answer choices are in powers of 2, so I probably didn't even need to do that. I can just add up these exponents. It would be 2 to the power of 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4, which is 6. So in a very quick way, I could have gotten B. Number 2, Harry and Barry ran home. Harry took X minutes. Barry took 1 minute longer, the product of the number of minutes they took. So we have X minutes for Barry and X plus 1 for the other guy, or Harry and Barry, whatever. And then the product would be X squared plus X. And that is D. Minus 100 minus 10. So minus 100 and then minus 10 is plus 10. And that would be equal to a question mark plus 10. Since 10s are on both sides, that means the question mark is the minus 100. So 3, the answer is B. 100 divided by 10 times 10 plus 10 times 10. Okay, so they're just getting at is the order of operations. You guys remember that, right? BEDMAS, brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So let's do the BEDMAS on this guy. So that would be 100 divided by 10 times 10 plus 10 times 10. Okay, so I guess we're doing order of operations. So we do this first, so that would be 10 times 10, and then plus 10 times 10. And then we can do the multiplication, so that's 100 plus 100. And then finally we do the addition, and that would be 200. So number 4, the answer is C. All right, so we got another one of these. Negative 1 to the power of 2 is 1. Negative 1 to the 0 is 1. Negative 1 to the 0 is 1. And negative 1 to the 4, I believe, is 1. So that all adds up to 4. And number 5, therefore, is B. If P is a prime, then P squared has exactly how many different positive divisors? So P squared, the divisors, these guys, would be 1, P, and P squared. So that's 3 of them. So 3 is the answer to number 6, and that would be, therefore, C. 234 plus 567 squared. Okay, so I'm pretty sure they want us to do that FOIL on this guy. So let's just do that. 234 plus 567. So this times this is 234 squared. And then we've got this times that. And there's going to be 2 of them. So it'll be 2 times 234 times 567. And then finally the last 2, 567 squared. So in there, they've got this, and they've got that. So then they're saying what's left over, and that's this guy. So that would be, of the answer choices, I believe D is the one that equals what this is. Okay, so x squared plus 1 over x. So we got x squared over x squared plus 1 over x squared. So that would be 1 plus 1 over x squared. And that looks like to me like A. Al bought 12 DVDs. Ali bought 15 CDs. Each DVD cost 1.5 times as much as each CD. The ratio of Al's total cost to Ali's was... So we have Al, we have Ali. And then for Al, it would be 12 times, well, we don't know. I'm just going to say it's X for the cost of a CD. So DVD would be 1.5X. And then for Ali, it's how many CDs? 15 CDs, and the cost I have designated as X. And that's the ratio. The X's cancel, and that just becomes, I think, 18 over 15. And in lowest terms, if you divide through by 3, it'd be 6 over 5, I think. So 6 to 5 is the ratio, and for number 9, that would be D. Mary resisted dunking her donut for B% of A minutes. For how many minutes did Mary resist dunking her donut? So let's just use an example. 10% of 100 minutes. because it makes it easier if there's numbers involved. So that would be 10 over 100 times 100. That would be the calculation. So in a very similar way, if you're using letters, it would be b over 100 times a. And of the answer choices, I believe the one that is equal to that is C. Okay, so 2 squared square root is just 2. 2 to the power of 4 squared, you just half the exponent, so it would be 2 to the power of 2. And similarly, 2 to the 6th square root, you half the exponent, and that would be 2 to the power of 3. So that looks to me like 2 plus 4 plus 8, and that is 14. So number, oh, there is no 14, so we have to figure out which one of these is equivalent. Well, it's just this one here. 11 is 8. If x plus 3 is a factor of x squared plus a, then a must equal. Okay. Let's see here. X squared plus a is factored, I guess, and they're saying x plus 3 and then something. Okay, so I think you just have to do this by inspection. I don't think there's any other way. At first glance, I'm thinking of x squared minus 9. Let's just see, that factors into x plus 3 and x minus 3. Correct? So there you go. So that means that a is minus 9. And therefore, number 12, the answer is A. If x squared is 5, then what is this? So that if you do the expansion, it would be x squared minus 1. And then since x squared is 5, it would be 5 minus 1, and that would be 4. So that means 13 is D. Okay, so there's this one. Okay, the hardest part, I think, is just making sure we don't mess it up. Just because there's so many of these brackets and all that stuff. Okay, so let me first see if I even wrote that properly. I think I did. Okay, so now let's carefully do this. So first I'm going to do this bracket. So that's going to be x squared plus 2x plus 2. Correct? Let me just see if I did that properly. Yep. And then I got to make sure that I keep it in the brackets like that. I hope I don't mess this up. So then this will be x to the power 3 plus 2x squared plus 2x plus 2. And then again, that x is out front. And then finally, it'll be x to the power 4 plus 2x to the power 3 plus 2x squared plus 2x plus 2. Okay, so what is the question asking me here? How many terms? Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. And therefore, number 14, the answer is B. 1 over x squared plus 1 over y squared is something over x squared, y squared. Okay, so we have to 1 over x squared plus 1 over y squared. So we have to do the adding fractions, basically, common denominator. So top and bottom by y squared, top and bottom by x squared. And therefore, we'd have y squared plus x squared over y squared times x squared. Okay. And they're saying that is equal to this. So the bottoms match, so the top would be y squared plus x squared. And in number 15, the answer choice that matches that, I believe, is D. Square S has side length x. The sum of the numerical value of the area of S and the numerical value of the perimeter S is. Okay, so we got a square here. And the side length is x. Okay. So the sum of the numerical value of the area, so the area would be x squared. And the perimeter would be 4x. Okay. And I think if we factor out an x, it would be x plus 4. And that matches the answer choice A. Two values of x satisfy x minus 9 all squared is equal to 1. These values differ by. So if x minus 9 squared is 1, then that means that x minus 9, if we take the square root, will be plus or minus 1. So either x minus 9 equals 1 or x minus 9 equals negative 1. This means x is 10, and this means x would be 8. And then therefore these two values differ by 2. And I think that is all they're getting at there, so the answer would be B. Which of the following is the square of a binomial? All right, again, I think this is inspection. So I'm looking at the last number is always 9, so I'm thinking maybe x plus 3. Let's see what happens if we do x plus 3. It's a binomial, so we have to multiply it by, basically x plus 3 squared is what they're getting at. So this would be x squared plus 6x plus 9. And let's see if any of those are the answer choices. And it is. C is the answer choice. Which of the following are the coordinates of a point that is equidistant from both the coordinate axes? So here's let's just draw a coordinate axes. This is your x, this is your y. Which one of these points is equidistant? Okay, well, let's try the first one, 100 and minus 100. So let's say 100 is way out here, and minus 100 would be, I believe, down there. So this point is here, and that would be equidistant because it would be a distance of 100 from the x-axis, and it would also be a distance of 100 from the y-axis. So without having to test all the other values, we know that 19 is equidistant. All right, big long polynomial. Oh boy. Okay, this is, I don't have to expand it. I have to figure out the roots. Okay, that's not so bad. So the first one is x minus 1, x plus 1 when you factor. The second one is x minus 2, x plus 2 when you factor. The third one, x minus 3, x plus 3. And the last one, x minus 4, x plus 4. And all of that is equal to 0. So obviously the roots are, well, let's see here. 1, negative 1, 2, negative 2, 3, negative 3, and 4, negative 4. So that's 8 roots. And therefore C would be the answer. The roots of the equation x squared plus bx plus c are 4 and 5. If the winning lottery number is b plus c, what is the winning lottery number? Okay, so x squared plus bx plus c has roots 4 and 5. So that means x minus 4 and x minus 5 are the factors, basically. So if you expand this, it's x squared minus 9x plus 20. Yeah. So that basically means that my b is equal to negative 9. Sorry, my b is equal to negative 9, and my c is equal to 20. So b plus c would be negative 9 plus 20, and that is 11. So 11 is the answer, and that would be B for number 21. If x is equal to question mark, then all this cannot equal 0. Okay, so if you look at these, if x equals 0, this would be 0, and therefore it would equal 0. If x equals negative 1, it would equal 0. If x equals negative 2, and so on. All the way up to x equals 99, negative 99, I should say, and x equals negative 100. So for all of those answer choices, it would. So the only one for which it would not equal 0 is this guy right here. So just a little bit of thinking there. So D is the answer. What is the coefficient of x to the power of 1 in the complete expansion of x plus 1 equals 20? To the power of 20. Okay, well, I'm certainly not going to expand it out, but I will show probably a little trend. X plus 1 to the power of 1 is just x plus 1, and the coefficient of x to the power of 1, which is this guy, is just 1, because there's nothing out there, so you kind of assume that it's a 1. When you do x plus 2, sorry, not x plus 2, x plus 1 to the power of 2, that's what I meant to say, is x squared plus 2x plus 1. Now the coefficient of x to the power of 1 here is 2, because that's the x to the power of 1 right there. And if you keep going, x plus 1 to the power of 3, and you expand that out, you will get x to the power of 3 plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1, I believe. And here the coefficient of x to the power of 1 is 3, and so on. So basically, if you have x to the power of some number, whatever the expansion is, the coefficient of that will be n. Got it? Following this pattern. So therefore, the coefficient of x plus 1 to the power of 20 will be 20. So that's sort of how you do it. It's obviously a lot quicker than expanding this. That would take absolutely forever. So 23, the answer would be B. So this expression is undefined. Well, right off the bat, you can see they have 1x minus 1 over x. So this guy right here is undefined when x equals 0. So let me just put that out there. X equals 0, that's an answer. And now let's continue with this. So let's just add this. So it'll be x squared minus 1 to the power of x. So there'll be 1 over 1, invert and multiply x squared minus 1. So that's x times x minus 1, x plus 1. And that's going to be undefined when x equals 1 or negative 1. So the number of values is 3, for which that expression is undefined, and therefore that would be C. If x plus 2 is equal to y plus 4, then x squared plus 4x plus 4 is. All right. So, what do I do here? So I think what they're doing is, my guess is they're just squaring that. So they're doing the x plus 2 squared. And then I guess if you square one side, you square the other side. And then I'm pretty sure that it matches. This becomes x squared plus 4x plus 4, which is this. And then that would just be y squared plus 8x plus 16. And of those answer choices, it's B, right? For number 25. Number 26. If a and b and ab plus b under the root are integers, then what else is an integer? Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Well, if it's under the root, then something must be... Let's experiment with this. See, if I have... This is, they're saying, is an integer. So that means if I factor out the b, I have a plus 1, correct? Yeah. And that is what all the answer choices kind of look like. There's a b and then there's an a plus 1. Okay. I think I have an idea of how to do this. And then something else has to be an integer. Well, if a is an integer, then a plus 1 will be an integer, correct? So that means that if you have a plus 1 squared, that will be an integer. And then if you put it under the square root sign, that should also be an integer. And the reason I did that is because all of these guys, none of them are to the power of 1. They're all different. See, this is 0, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So I'm trying to get 2. Since we already have 1, let's go with the one that's a 3, because I think I could combine those. So first I'll break up it into a plus 1 to the power of 1 and a plus 1 to the power of 2. And that way we get this guy right here. So we break that up, and then we just have this one, a plus 1 to the power of 2. Aha! So as you can see, this guy is an integer, because that's what they say is an integer. And then this one will also be an integer, because that's just going to be a plus 1, the absolute value, whatever it is. Well, a plus 1 is going to be positive, right? So if you take the square root of a positive, it'll be positive. Yeah, but it'll still put the absolute value in there because we're not sure if a is positive or negative. But it's still going to be an integer. A little bit of thinking there. The number 26, therefore, is C. Line L is perpendicular to line K. If the slope of L is a non-zero integer, then the slope of L divided by the slope of K could equal. All right. Well, when you have line L, let's say its slope is M, right? The slope of K will be the negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal. So the negative reciprocal of M is 1 over M, negative 1 over M. So then they're saying what are they saying? The slope of L, which is M divided by the slope of K, okay, could be, well, let's do this first. M over 1, invert and multiply, negative M over 1, so that's negative M squared. Okay, negative M squared. Non-zero integer, so they don't tell us if it's positive or negative. But regardless if it's positive or negative, M squared will be positive, and then you put a negative out front. So the only one that matches is a negative 4, because this one, even though it's negative, in order to get that, you'd have to have half. I think M would have to equal half, and half is not an integer. So therefore, Therefore, the answer is -4, which would be D. My phone has 9 digits. Their product is an even perfect square, the greatest possible value of their sum. So 9 digits, right? Oh, so 7 digits. Ooh, my eyesight is getting bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Product is an even perfect square, so 2m all squared. That's an even perfect square. So that's basically 4m squared. Okay. The greatest. They want the greatest. So I have to put numbers in here. The only way I can get a 4 is to have even numbers. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I have to have even. I have to have at least 2 even numbers. The two largest even numbers are 8. Well, the largest even number that's a single digit is 8. And then to make the sum as great as possible, I'll just make the other ones 9s. So now the sum would basically be 5 of those 9s plus 2 of those 8s, and that's 45 plus 16, which is 61. So C is the answer. Our square bulletin board has an area A and a perimeter P. If A over P is an integer, then the length of one of the board sides could be square board, okay? Area A and perimeter P. So area, well, I don't know, so I'm going to call it X. So the area is X squared, and the perimeter is 4X. So A over P would be X squared over 4X, which is the equivalent of X over 4. So, and they're saying that this is an integer. So this is an integer, and the only way it can be an integer is if X is divisible by 4. And of the answer choices, the only one that's divisible by 4, I believe, is A. And the last one. In a sequence of 2n positive numbers whose first term is k, each successive term is the reciprocal of the term that came before it. The sum of all 2n terms is. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of terms, and it just keeps on going, and there's 2n of them. The whole is 2n. Now the first term is, they're saying, is k, and then the next one is the reciprocal, and the next one is the reciprocal of the previous term, and so on. And therefore, this is just going to keep going like that. So that means half of them are k's, so n of them are k's, and then another n are 1 over k. And that would be the sum, because they're asking for the sum. So this would be nk plus n over k. And if you add this top and bottom by k, that would be nk squared plus n all over k. nk squared plus n all over k, and I believe that is answer choice A.